Welcome back to the Armchair Generals.
where we talk 40K's news, tactics, and lore.
and so much more. We hope you enjoy the video.
Welcome back to the Armchair Generals. Thank you for joining us today. As always, my name is Crash, and with me I have Novastar.
Hello, everybody.
El Scotcho is still out at this time. He's recovering from surgery, but he's doing well and should be back with us next week. Today we're going to be talking something that's, I would say, near and dear, but it's definitely not dear to the hearts of a lot of GW players, 40K players and fantasy players and AOS players, and that is the pricing on miniatures. We do have some new pricing we're going to go over, and then we're going to just discuss it a little bit, give our thoughts on it, some of the pros, some of the cons, probably more cons than pros, but, it's how things go. So I know Nova has a list of new prices for some of the new upcoming models that he's going to go over.
So first up, what went on pre-order this weekend are the new Sons of Behemoth army for Age of Sigmar. It's all giants all the time. So knowing that, your army is going to be very limited in numbers. So you typically would expect to pay more per model because you're not needing as many, not going to buy as many. Oof, GW has raised that ceiling on their pricing. So your main unit for this army is called a Mega Gargant. They come in 3 flavors. It's all in one box kit, which could be a reason why it's artificially higher than, say, the big Imperial Knight, what is that? The Valiant, or what's the one with big gun?
The Castellan and the Valiant.
Yeah,
Dominus class.
I would imagine that those 2 knights would actually be this price if they included the sprue for either or in the same box. So Mega Gargant is 195 American dollars.
That is a lot of junior bacon cheeseburgers right there.
That is impressive. I mean, don't get me wrong, the knight is huge. A human-sized model comes up to its ankle.
I mean,
The Gargant is huge. I said knight.
It's an enormous model, and it's a gorgeous model. Like Games Workshop, as I've said again and again, off camera and on camera, they make the best minis in the game collectively, and the Gargants are gorgeous.
Oh, they really are so cool.
109. I mean, you could buy a all digital PS5 for the cost of 2 Mega Gargants.
It's true, but then you'd have to have an all digital PS5 and not an actual good, like, Chad disc version. You'd have to have the wimpy digital version.
But I mean, they're gorgeous models, but $195. And you noticed something on their website with the collectible things.
The
coasters.
The coasters? Yeah. So so typically GW in these past few releases, I want to say, gosh, for big tentpole releases like this, they always have some kind of tchotchke item. So pins, data cards, something just to entice the buyer to buy from them and not from a third-party retailer. Well, this time they brought out a set of Bugman's Bar coasters. And Bugman's Bar was a famous Warhammer Fantasy bar ran by the dwarf Bugman. Well, GW replicated this bar in Warhammer World. It's really cool. I've been there. It's really awesome. It looks like a dwarven bar. It's super cool. And they have this set of limited coasters that you get when you purchase a Mega Gargant. Well, typically these items are sold out on the day or the weekend that new pre-orders go up, and it is it's Monday following the Saturday pre-orders, and they're still there, which means to tell me I don't think they're moving as many Mega Gargants as they thought they were
going to move. Well, I mean, I know people were probably planning for right about night price, and that is not night price. I mean, that's a full $38 over night price. So, I mean, gonna call that 40. I mean, if you were saving up to get a couple, you're $80 short.
mean, I'm gonna be getting two, but I'm gonna be getting them from my favorite retailer who gives me 20% off. There's no way I would pay GW the 195 for some coasters.
That's oh, Games Workshop. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Because I'll be saving almost $100 going through TBS Comics, who I normally go through.
And then there was some questionable Necron pricing going on too.
So GW has a where is it? It is called the Recruit Edition. It's to get people into the game, gives you a little bit of rules, couple missions to play, and it gives you a squad of Necron warriors, a Royal Warden, a Space Marine Lieutenant, and 5 Assault Intercessors. Really not a bad little mini force for 2 people to split for $50.
No, not bad at all.
They're Necron warriors, so half of what's in that kit are going on pre-order this Saturday, and the rumored pricing for them, because I've seen the English pricing, but the rumored American pricing, if you convert straight from the English pound, is going to be $45. Now GW never does this, so I'm expecting them to be 50. And if they are 50, there's literally zero reason for you ever to buy a warrior kit and not just buy one of these Recruit editions, because it's 10 warriors and 10 warriors, and then a bunch of other stuff. Even if you don't need the Assault Intercessors, Lieutenant, or Royal Warden, you just sell them on on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or something.
Somebody will buy those 5 Assault Intercessors off you for $10, $15, and then you're getting a squad of warriors for $40 or $35. And if they buy the Lieutenant too, you could sell them the Lieutenant for, $5 to $10. I mean, way under market value, and still they get something they want. You pay way less for a squad of Necron warriors.
Yeah, and then use the Royal Warden as, because they're not really that good of a model, in my opinion. Maybe some more play and dynasty picking, I'll change my mind. But once you get a bunch, you can make a whole immortal squad out of them once you collect enough Royal Wardens.
That was my exact thought. I was like, you get 5 of them and you could do an immortal squad.
There you go.
Super cool looking immortals.
Pick up 10 from all the other Necron players. They're going to be selling them for $2-3 a piece because they're going to flood the market. And you can make Anric here the Traveler. He has a special group called the Farian Legion, and they could be his special dudes.
Yep. Yeah. That pricing just, we've discussed that a little bit previously because it compares to the Tau Start Collecting Box is a big one. A squad of Crisis Suits, Tau Crisis Suits, is $75. The Start Collecting Box is $90 or $95. And in the Start Collecting Box, you also get a squad of 10 Fire Warriors and an Ethereal. There is literally no reason not to just buy the Start Collecting Box, sell the squad of Fire Warriors for $20, the Ethereal for $10, and you get your Crisis Suits cheaper than they would be at box price. And if you buy from, a secondhand retailer that gives you a discount, then, such as, Nova gets his through one of our old favorite game stores. You can also buy through stores like Frontline, and they do discounts frequently on a lot of their Warhammer stuff. So you could get it at a discount and then get it for even cheaper. Finding them online for $85 is $80 to $85 is not uncommon. I've seen $80 to $85 Start Collecting Boxes quite regularly on Amazon, even eBay, and through other secondhand retailers. And there's literally no reason not to do it.
Zero.
What?
Zero reason not to do that.
Well, even the Chaos Start Collecting Box, the Chaos Marine Start Collecting Box is a really good value too. You get a full squad, a Master Possession, 2 Greater Possessed, and you get 3 Obliterators and a Venom Crawler.
The only thing with the Chaos one is they are the monopose pieces from Shadow Spear.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So usually if you want a little more variety, pick up another box of Chaos Warriors, but it's a really good starting point.
Yeah.
Zero reason not to get it if you're starting to collect. as the name on the box suggests.
See, I didn't know they were monopose, but even then, I mean, if you're one of those that isn't too worried about having guys that, are posed the same, you can get a really, really solid starter army, buying 2 of those boxes. If you want to use you can use the greater possessed as regular possessed, or you can use them as greater possessed. Or you can sell off you can sell off what you don't want. It's a really, really good starter. I know a lot of people use that Master of Possession as a Chaos Sorcerer because he looks like one.
I guess the Gargants now have the most expensive start collecting box because it's $195.
But Games Workshop's pricing is something we've been confused on for quite some time. Some of it makes sense, and some of it really, really doesn't. Like I know Nova had said that the new monolith is looking to be 170.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, now that they have this giant out, other big monster characters, say Teclis, who just came out, is 170. In people's minds, I just know it. They'll go, well, at least he's not as expensive as that giant. And then they'll go buy him and be perfectly happy.
People will. I mean, the best way for us to tell Games Workshop not to price their models so high is to not buy them.
And it never happens.
Not trying to discourage anybody from, buying stuff that they want. I'm just saying, as consumers, we speak with our wallet. That is the best way to tell a company, hey, we don't like this pricing, or hey, we don't like what you're doing here, whether it be movies, video games, Warhammer, the best way to make a company take notice is speak with your wallet. But it's hard though, especially if you're trying to keep up with a competitive meta. It's hard to not buy the newer, models. Yeah. Now, what was the price on the Elite Edition versus the Scorpic Destroyers?
So the Scorpic Destroyers we saw are going to be, what was that, 45 on release? The Elite Edition is 99. So if you were going in for a box of Warriors, let's just say they're going to be 50, and Scorpic Destroyers, that's 95. $5 more gets you the Elite Edition, which then gives you a Necron Lord, 3 Space Marine Outrider bikes, a Space Marine Indominus Captain, and 5 Intercessors. So you know what Space Marines really, really like right now? Outrider bikes. You can make your money back just by selling the Marine half of the stuff.
I mean, they're fantastic. The Outrider bikes are amazing.
Or pay just a significant amount less. Like, so if you sell your Outrider bikes for $30, which will be cheaper than what GW sells them alone for, and your Assault Intercessors again for $10, $15, you're going to be making like your money back and getting a free unit.
Yep.
And the Indominus Captain is really cool. Like, I know I want 2 or 3 just to pose up and change and put into different chapters.
The Indominus Captain is really cool. And also with these sets, you could find somebody to go splitsies on.
Exactly.
You find somebody to go splitsies on the Elite Edition, $100, $50 a piece. You each get $100 worth of models. Dang near, or right about, yeah. Little less on the Space Marine side, I think, but yeah, you go splitsies and you each get a lot more than what you're paying for.
Yeah, for sure.
I know my little brother and I split an Indominus box, and it was $100, for each of us then, and we each got well over $100 worth of stuff.
Yeah, Indominus box is really good, especially if you're splitting with people.
Oh yeah, no, the Indominus box is really, really good. I actually might build my Indominus warriors with that new little
Reaper?
Yeah, the Reaper. I wasn't going.
But I'm part of a Necron group, and all they could argue about, it would come up at least 4 times a day and then people eventually became a funny meme in itself. There's Flayers versus Reapers. I don't think I've ever seen so many reset the clock memes.
Reset the clock since the last time somebody argued about it.
Yep.
I mean, I've got a ton of old warriors. They all have Flayers. And so, I mean, this way I could have some Reapers on hand. I mean, the new Warriors are such good models, but this way I could have some of the Reapers on hand if I want to use them. And I've got all those Warriors, the old school Warriors with the flares. So I don't know.
Funnily enough, it wasn't just the Reapers that got a change in their rules from the Edge of Silence to the actual Codex release. So, the flares got better because they went from Rapid Fire 14 to Assault 2 at 12 inches. So now they're Assault, you can run with them, and then you get the 2 shots at a much better range.
Yeah, the Reapers, yeah.
And then I know a couple characters like Illuminar Ceres, his range, for some reason in Psychic Awakening, they halved it. And then from his 8th edition Codex form, and then the 9th edition Codex came and they doubled it and took it back to the original profile. They kept the strength and the damage increase. They just increased the range again. It was really weird. It's like, why'd you do that?
Games Workshop. They're British.
Yeah. They're British. That's the answer.
What's the saying? Oh, they're taking the piss.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, kind of applies to the pricing too. The whole go home, you're drunk.
Right.
$195 for a giant. I mean, and yeah, again, the model's gorgeous, and I'm sure people are going to buy them and love them and be happy with their purchase.
I'm going to buy 2, and I'm going to be happy with them.
I'm not buying any.
I already have all the little giants because you know me. I started collecting this the moment they said, I'm like, a giant army is going to be amazing.
Yep. You're over there looking for pieces and parts and bits to glue on them for trophies, and we'll have to show them off once.
Once they're painted, I'll put them up.
Yeah, we'll have to.
We'll get them on our Discord or on the channel.
Yeah, we need to get our Discord set up. Yeah, but I mean, in general, Games Workshop has some very strange pricing sometimes. Sometimes it makes sense. Like, I actually understand why characters are, $25 to $35 on average. I actually get it. Most of those characters, like a Gene Stealer Magus, most Gene Stealer cults armies have 1 Magus. Some will have a second, but most of them will have 1 Magus if they have a Magus.
I hope they get rid of that weird rule where you can only have 1 of each per detachment.
Yeah, but like but Gene Stealer cults, most players will buy 1 Magus. They'll buy 3 or 4 boxes of other stuff, but they'll buy 1 Magus. And and while polystyrene plastic is dirt cheap now, I understand it was expensive back in the 90s and maybe the early 2000s. It's dirt cheap now.
Was it expensive when they first started using it?
It was more expensive. I mean, it wasn't super pricey, but it was more expensive than it is now. Yeah. With 3D printing, it's become a much more popular plastic.
Well, I mean, really, I always thought that the most of their cost went into the steel molds they make. Mm-hmm. And that's why things are a certain price point to make that money back.
And
then to make a profit on it.
And the molds were a lot more expensive back in the day. They're way cheaper now because you can design the mold within a program now instead of having to. I mean, they designed the molds within a program before, but those programs have gotten so much better now. And laser cutting things is so much cheaper than it was back then.
I have a picture of the old, when the Tau first got released. They show you a worker actually hand tooling the mold. Like, here's Johnny down in, the mold department, hand tooling the metal mold for the mass produced plastic sprues.
Yeah. Yeah, they used to have machines, like the machine tooling and stuff like that. And it was a lot more expensive, but now you can laser cut most of those. Some of the finer details will still need to be machined, but machining has become so much more efficient with automation and connected programming and stuff. It really is. It's something that has mystified me for quite some time. The production process and the materials have only gotten cheaper, and Games Workshop's prices continue to go up. I think keeping them at a stable level would make more sense. Yes, inflation and value change on currency, but as their production costs go down, it doesn't make sense that their prices are going up.
Right.
And it's so much easier now to design models. Yes, you have to have somebody with 3D modeling, knowledge and experience versus somebody who models by hand. But, that modeling by hand, you were paying a modeler, for weeks, even months of work, depending on the model. And now, somebody slaps in an idea into, 3D modeling program and goes to work. And a lot of the time they can turn those out pretty quickly. I've seen people do 3D modeling for character models and stuff, and they can slap together a pretty good workup pretty quickly. So the production process is faster and cheaper, and I genuinely don't understand the significant increases in the price of Games Workshop's goods over the years. I mean, when we first started, a tactical squad of Space Marines was $35, and we thought that was expensive, and now they're 50.
Weren't they 25 when we first started?
They might have been 30. I thought they were 35. It might have been, I'm pretty sure it was 30 or 35, because I know the little 5-man battle squad that they put out was 20, and that's usually more expensive to buy them in smaller groups. But
just remember, the Space Marine Codex is 20, and the nice sweet supplements are 50.
Yeah. The cost of codexes has gone so far up. That's something I'm genuinely disappointed in. I know
back to 50.
Yeah, they had said they were not, they were not in the codex business, and they were going to be lowering the price of codexes, and now they're back up.
They're also digitally not available on iTunes or the Play Store.
Oh, so you have to buy them through the app digitally now?
Correct. I was on there the other day, but there's a GW digital website.
I think that's a bad choice. Forced exclusivity doesn't work.
No.
It can make, it can work in certain circumstances, but not as a market tactic like this. Forced exclusivity of like special edition models, that works great. People want that special edition model, they got to buy it. But forced exclusivity of, you can only get our digital products through this pathway, is not a good business tactic. Yeah, $50 codexes is, I mean, it's ridiculous. I can buy, a role-playing book for, most role-playing books, the big, thick, heavy ones are $50. I can buy a 400-page Pathfinder core book for $50. And in most cases, I can buy it cheaper. You get it on Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com or something like that. You can, a lot of the time, you can get it for like 35, maybe $40.
Right.
And so for them charging $50 for a codex, it's going back on some of what they had said. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do know I don't like it, but I was really hoping we'd see a return to form. Get like maybe $30 softbacks. That would have been nice.
I like hardbacks more than softbacks, but I do know there's a market for the softback books.
Well, I mean, when Pathfinder did those pocket-sized versions of their big books, and they did they made them smaller and paperback, and they were like half the price. You could get the Pathfinder core book for like $25. They sold tons of them. It was a huge selling item. They did it for a lot of their initial core stuff, like their first 3 bestiary books, I think. The Pathfinder core book for the first edition, not for the new edition. But I mean, it's just, I mean, that's their business is selling those books, and they can sell those books cheaper than Games Workshop sells codexes. It, I mean, and I can't, I mean, they can't argue that more work goes into the codexes than into a role-playing book.
Right.
I mean, yes, rules development takes time and it takes money. I fully understand that, but I just think their prices are rather out of hand. I think most of the character prices are fine. I understand why a lot of those little characters are that way. I personally don't have any problems paying $45 for Big Tommy Beatstick, the bike chaplain. I know a lot of people are upset about that. I really don't see it as a big deal because I'm going to buy one. I don't need 5 of him. I need 1, maybe 2 if I decide to send 2 of them out there, because I mean,
Do like an all bike army or something.
Yeah, because he makes a heck of a slapling, and so I mean, I can understand sending 2 out there, but most cases you're going to want some other kind of character, and you're still just going to use 1, unless it's for a very specific build. Thoughts there, Nova?
Yeah, their pricing is really, it's bamboozling, to use a southern term. I mean, we'll take them back on it. I mean, it is what it is. If I want to use the units, I'll pay it. But, whew, gosh.
I mean, it's part of why there's such a strong secondhand market for.
Yeah. I'll wait till maybe someone buys. Like, I'll buy the first Mega Gargant because I want to do a lot of conversions. I've already talked to you about it. So, but the second one, I might wait till someone buys it, realizes it's not the army for them, and then throws it up on the marketplace and pick it up for cheaper.
Yeah.
But the first one, I want to do too much work to it where I need it to be not assembled.
Yeah. And I mean, I genuinely think you wouldn't see people getting out of the hobby like they do. You know, they sell their stuff on eBay and they say, "Oh, I'm getting out of the hobby," and stuff like that. You know, people might not be so quick to do that if it wasn't so expensive to buy. And we did do a video on pricing and sticker shock and things like that. I'll put that in the recommended videos at the end of this one. And it was a good video with some good insight. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're going to start pricing some people out of the hobby if they keep this up.
Well, hopefully they see that this was too much and that they don't release again at this price point.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna, I mean, they saw the Lumina, they priced the Mount Muji Super Cow model at a certain price point. It sold extremely well from what I gathered.
Oh, what was the price point?
I believe 150. See, I order from TBS. I don't ever remember. That's Avalorn.
I don't even know what it's called. I just always call it the Beaver of Secrets.
Beaver of Secrets, Mount Muji. There's some really good ones too. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they're funny. No, it was only 110.
See, that's not too bad.
But granted, it's only as big as a normal giant.
Oh, really?
Like the little one, yeah. It's pretty small.
Well, I mean, the level of detail that goes into it, it's not too terrible. It's a gorgeous model, and you only need 1.
You need 1 or 2 for your army if you're going to take the special character version.
Okay, so you may need 2. But I mean, I'll bet you some clever magnetizing, and you could use the same model.
Oh, 100%. People are already in the Lumina Realm Lord groups on Facebook. They're like, this is how you magnetize it, so you can do this.
And magnetizing's not for everybody. I know you said you don't like magnetizing.
I don't.
But like, for instance, I imagine for him it'd be the wrists and the head.
The wrist, the head, some of the flags, and the mountain on the back. It's a different mountaintop.
Okay, I imagine that probably isn't too hard. Those mountains probably socket into those shoulder pads.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the model.
That whole top deck, it's weird. It's actually one big plate, and you socket stuff into it.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at the sprue. I see that. Yeah, that would be easy to magnetize, actually.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying he would be hard at all, but people put up videos about it. And he comes in the other one, the Spirit of the Mountain comes with 2 of the long hammers, so you can change out how you want the arms.
Yeah, the upper arms are in the same positions. It looks like it's just the left arm that changes, because it looks like the right arm's in the same position too.
Yeah, the hands are actually small. The hands are smaller on that model than the normal Gargant. So, because I'm going to give my Gargant the 2 hammers, and he's going to be wearing one of the cow masks as a faceplate.
I like it.
And so what I'm going to do is, you can see I'm just going to snip the top of the hammer and the bottom of the hammer, like drill a little bit into the Gargant hand, put some plastic glue in there, and just pop them in.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I'm just looking at it. I can definitely see. I don't think he would be hard to magnetize. I'll have to check out those videos or those posts that you're talking about.
There's even videos already of some of the early like YouTubers and influencer people have gotten the Mega Gargants, and one person already put up a video on how to magnetize it so you get all 3 builds out of one kit.
Well, which won't work as well for you because you're wanting to do a lot of conversion work on them.
I want to do a ton of conversion work because I was really inspired by one of the relics that they can use.
Yeah, it's going to look really cool when you're done with it.
I'm going to feel so bad for the group that is going to keep getting chopped up.
Yeah, it's going to look really good when you're done with it. But, and that is actually another good point that I accidentally made there. Magnetizing can be tricky depending on the model, but it is a very good alternative to getting multiples of a model. Riptides, for instance, are relatively easy to magnetize. You magnetize the main gun, and if you have a reason to switch out the shoulder mounted smart missile systems for something else, there's really not much point. Yeah. But if you should want to, that's pretty easy to magnetize as well.
And cow models are pretty easy in general. Fun fact, all the Titans in Adeptus Titanicus, GW already pre-drilled magnet points for people.
Because they knew people were going to do it. And that's that's where Games Workshop confuses me. I mean, I guess that's more Forge World.
Well, they're plastic, so it's made by the main company. So they do something that cool for their consumers, and then they're like, oh yeah, well here's this giant at X cost.
Yep. Well, but yeah, magnets, you can get some pretty small magnets and some pretty big magnets. These are actually 1/4 inch across by I think a 1/16 thick, and they are really strong, very small. And you get a drill bit that fits it. And this was 25 of them. I think I got it for $5 off Amazon. They're just little black fridge magnets is what they were listed as, but they're much stronger than a fridge magnet. Like you can hear the.
Yeah, some models really, they just magnetize better. So Tau stuff, marine stuff. Things you don't want to magnetize, like Fiddly Eldar, because they're small.
Though actually, a lot of the weapon mounts you could magnetize.
Oh, on the vehicles, yeah. On the actual infantry, so probably not.
Oh yeah, no, not the infantry. The vehicles, though, you could probably magnetize just about all those weapon mounts for the Switch.
More than likely, yeah.
That's actually a project I'm going to have to probably look at in the near future because I need to go through and strip the weapons off all my. Oh, actually, I might. With the changes to 9th edition and all those vehicles, because all my Warwalkers have scatter lasers from back when they were good in 5th edition.
They were good in 5th and 8th. Everyone wanted scat packs.
Well, in 8th, you took the negative for moving and shooting them because they were. I think you're thinking.
I'm sorry, 7th. I'm thinking 7th.
Yeah. All my Warwalkers have dual scatter lasers, But now that you can move them and shoot without taking a negative, those scatter lasers might be worth it again because they're pretty cheap.
Yeah.
I might not be stripping them. Might be best just to strip them anyway and magnetize them so I don't have to worry about
You
that.
should 100% do bright lance and scatter lasers because I like bright lances.
I wouldn't put bright lances on Warwalkers because of cost versus mobility and the ability to get the line of sight you need on vehicles. My bright lances go on Wave Serpents and Falcons.
What do you mean line of sight of vehicles? You just need to see a little piece of them now.
Well, yeah, but like if they can't shift, 12 inches to the right to go, I see you, peekaboo. Whereas, a Wave Serpent can go, whoop.
Okay, that's true.
Warwalkers, Star Cannons. Star Cannons are still such a nasty weapon. I think they get overlooked a lot. Especially with they did take a points hike, but they got a pretty significant points drop during 8th. Because they were originally like 35 points a piece, and they dropped them to, I think, 10, and they're up to 15 now. Yeah, I haven't really looked at the Eldar heavy weapons a ton since 9th edition hit, other than that Eldar mech list I made, which I still think would be pretty nasty. Gotten a little bit off topic there though. Magnetizing. Good way to save money if you've got models that are easy to magnetize, like Tau battle suits. A lot of the Eldar vehicles will be pretty easy to magnetize. You'll want to get a smaller magnet, maybe an eighth inch thick one. I have some of those around here somewhere, but you'll want smaller magnets for them because their models are more spindly, more fragile. A lot of Space Marine vehicles, magnetizing works well. Big, clunky, chunky vehicles. Chaos vehicles works pretty well. Tyranids is harder because they're so organic. It's harder to put a flat, hard piece of magnet in there and have it line up without looking weird.
Yeah.
I've done some eBay rescues of models and gotten models that have magnets in them, and some of the way those magnets are mounted in is just. I got a Hive Tyrant that I eBay rescued. It cost me like $12, $13, something like that. One of the newer plastic ones. And the magnets were literally just shoved in the sockets and glued in. They didn't drill them out, nothing. It was just pushed in with some glue.
That sounds terrible.
So then any weapons you magnetize literally like jut completely out of the body.
Oh, and it looks terrible too.
It did. I just because it came with a few magnetized weapons, and the magnets were literally, they like took sprue clippers and snipped off the tip of the bulbous part that goes in the shoulder socket, and then glued the magnet right there. And so it just like they just stuck out. It was bad. It was bad. But magnetizing is a good way to save money if you know what you're doing. And getting some practice in is not a bad idea. You can use a pin vise. For the bigger bits, like the ones I was showing over there, the 1/4 inchers, you're probably going to want a small power drill, like a craft power drill, not like a full-size power drill. I have a little one that I got from IKEA. It costs like $20, and just it's this tiny little power drill, and in my giant hands, it looks really, really small. It's good for drilling out magnet holes. Yeah. Any other cost-saving thoughts there, Nova? eBay rescues.
eBay rescues. Stick to one army as long as you can, as long as you can hold out. That'll save you.
Yeah, it's not terrible advice.
I don't know anyone who doesn't have multiple armies though. After X amount of time in the, because they're all cool. Like all the background is subjectively really cool. The models are all subjectively cool, and it's an insidious creeper vine. It'll get you, and like, yeah, I would love to start a new army. And you'll do small projects, like you'll start a kill team. Like, oh, I'm just going to do a kill team.
Yep.
I'm just gonna do a combat patrol.
Um, yeah, I started a Gene Stealer Cults kill team. I have a Gene Stealer Cults kill team. Need to get them painted up, but and so I built that kill team, and then I'm like, I kind of want to play Gene Stealer Cults now.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Hopefully they keep their movement and their deployment shenanigans.
I mean, really, there's not a lot of armies I don't want to play. I don't
Right?
really have a whole lot of interest in Guard. Sorry, Astra Militarum, the Imperial Guard.
They're always Imperial Guard.
There's really not a lot else that I would not like to have an army of. I love orcs. I love their background and their lore. I just don't want to paint all those models. But I could do an orc mechanized list and be perfectly happy with that.
Right? Like an Evil Sons would look pretty cool.
Well, I love the Killer Cans and the Death Dreads, and
Oh, you want to do a can wall?
I really love those models. But orcs for me would be an army I don't play as a competitive army. That would be a fun army because orcs are pretty terrible right now. Plus, I don't want to paint 90 boys. I just don't want to do it.
Right. Oh, well, yeah, there are good lists. You just need 90 boys.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, I mean, every army has lists that can win, but it's just a matter of whether or not that's a list you want to play.
Right.
I don't want to play a 90 boy list. I don't want to paint 90 boys. 90 boy lists win because you just can't kill them all. Also, it's expensive, but there are ways to save money. But GW's costs are weird. They've been weird for a long time. When we first started playing, it really wasn't too bad because you could get a battle force for $90.
Yeah. It wasn't too bad, but we were also broke teenagers, so it seemed like a ton of money.
It did. It did.
So it's funny now that we're adults and have the money, the prices have gone.
And now the prices are a little bit much.
It's like, dang.
But I mean, back then we had battle forces. Start collecting boxes are kind of a half-hearted version of the battle force. Like you do get value. Some of the start collecting boxes you get a lot of value out of, but most of them you get a little bit. You get like 20. You save like 20 to 30 bucks, which isn't bad. But the old battle forces, you save like 50, 60 bucks easy.
Yeah, the old battle forces are really, really good.
And yeah, they were. And if you look on eBay, there's still people selling old battle forces for a pretty penny in a lot of cases, and it's still worth to save. I was looking at a Tyranid army box that has like it was like an old swarm box or something like that. It has 2 Carnifexes, 20 Termagants, 20 Hormagaunts, 10 Gene Stealers, and I think 10 Gargoyles or something like that. And they only want 200 for it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, someone was selling an Ian and Ghost Warrior box, so a ton of Wraith Lords and Wraith units. So like, oh, that'd be super cool. And I'd be like, no, don't do it. No. I had to stop myself.
You what?
I had to stop myself. I'm like, oh, yeah, that'd be really cool. I'm gonna play all Ian and Ghost Warriors.
I hate painting yellow. I wouldn't want to play Andon again.
I wouldn't play them. I would run them as
I love
probably ultimate.
I love the Andon color scheme. Like I absolutely do love it. It looks great on the field. I hate painting yellow. Even with an airbrush, I hate painting yellow. It's unforgiving. Yellow and white and orange to a degree are very unforgiving. You know, you get a little bit of black paint on some blue, you can rub it off and it's not too bad. You know, you get a little bit of black on some red, you can rub it off and it's, you know, typically not noticeable, or just a quick dab of red will, you know, very thin quick dab of red will get rid of, you know, get rid of it. You get black on white or yellow, you are done. You have to go over it with so many layers of white or yellow to correct it. It's very, very frustrating. But gotten I'm rambling a bit today. Gotten off track there.
We've gone a little rambly.
But I mean, we were planning this to be a little bit more of an open discussion. GW pricing. Go home, GW. You're drunk. Anything else, Nova?
Not for tonight.
All righty. Well, we do love you, Games Workshop. I mean, we're still buying your models and still playing. We're just going to gripe about your prices.
Just a little bit.
Till next time, we've been the Armchair Generals. You all have a great day.
And remember, blessed is the mind too small for doubt, especially when it's GW's pricing department.
Thank you for joining us for today's video.
We hope you enjoyed your time with us.
If you did, please remember to smash that like button.
Hit subscribe and click that notification bell.
So you never miss a video from us.
Until next time, we are the Armchair Generals.